Hey everybody, this is Michael and Carrie Crutchfield,
Hey.
and we want to invite you to share with us. It's our anniversary again, and you know every year we do 20 Days of Love, but this year we're going a little more in depth. We're having 8 candid conversations with 8 of our couple friends, and we're going to sit down and talk out some raw, relevant, and real life issues that concern not just us, but concern you.
So what we want to do is change the narrative of how marriage is portrayed in media. We see reality TV, we see all that goes on, but we want to do our take on reality TV, which is real testimonies of victory.
Yes.
So we have 8 champion couples that are going to come sit down with us, celebrate with us, but what we're really going to do is confront some hot topics. We're going to confront some everyday issues in marriage, and we're going to talk about what some would say the church don't talk about, but we're going to talk about stuff that the church and the world talks about, because guess what? We're still real people. We
Right.
go through real issues, and marriage is a real big deal.
So join us at the beginning of August for these 8 candid conversations. I promise they will be something that you don't want to miss. Join Carrie and I on all of our social media networks. On Facebook, We Are Crutchfield. On Instagram, We Are Crutchfield. On Periscope, We Are Crutchfield. Join us at the beginning of August. We want to see you there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just start
Because
Okay.
like the conversation is real.
cut it wherever you want to cut
Yeah.
it. Do whatever you want to do.
Right.
We trust you. We trust your life.
So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I think I would. Is there somebody out there? Like, can you email us at weRcrutchfield@gmail.com if you have gotten a divorce from your spouse and then you realize you went looking for all the fish in the sea, you realized the sea was full of pollutant, it was dead fish. So you came back to your spouse.
Right.
And it's work. Like, we want to talk to you. We want to have a conversation with you. Maybe on one of our lives we can discuss what's the process like when you get divorced, just to find out the one I lost was my life.
So that's our audience. I mean, that's who we are looking to reach. That's who we are casting our nets out at. We're casting our net out to talk to those people who are not the cookie cutter, that typical, what they used to think we were. Dressed
so
up
just
in
put
hats
together.
and suits.
Because you know what the real
Perfect.
story is behind that? Most of the most best dressed people have the shabbiest lives. Like,
Right.
not
You
shabby in the
struggling.
sense of
Yeah, and you.
but you're portraying
not
this
really-
image of marriage that is so put
Yeah.
together. But I mean, like, every marriage is a struggle.
Yeah,
And
we're
real.
not perfect, and we want to talk about that. We want to talk about, your thoughts of wanting to leave, your infidelity, your shame, your rejection, what matters in real life. We want to talk to real people. This is reality, there's no scripts. There's not a whole bunch of people in the background. There's no $1 million mansions. This isn't the Real Housewives or the Real Gents of whoever.
But it
but it is reality.
Yeah.
This is reality. And in reality, you can get the victory. It's
Yeah.
hard work, but you can overcome.
Say that again.
It's hard work, but you can get the victory. It's hard work, but you can overcome. And that's our story. That's what we believe. That's what we believe for you. Heck, that's what we believe for us.
Right.
That you can overcome.
And we have to keep believing.
Yeah, and you have to keep believing that every single day. You have to rehearse it.
And
You have to-
sometimes one party is believing and the other may be a little down. So I may have lost my belief. The Bible says, help me in my unbelief.
Yeah.
What happens when my husband is believing, but I don't believe this? It doesn't even matter anymore. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, so we want to talk to that. We want to talk to those issues, and we want to talk about the victory on the other side of that. A couple of years ago, we went through one of the darkest hours, I would say, in our life. In our lives, separately and together. It was a dark hour in our life, and this process has taught us so many things over the last 4 years. But it has definitely drawn us together, and we know that there are
going through the same thing.
Yeah, that are going through the same things, and we think that one of the problems in the kingdom, not so much the church, but in the kingdom, we say we are overcome by the words of our testimony, but nobody's testifying. So this is our
You say,
opportunity.
I don't look like, or our marriage doesn't look like what it's been through. Well, what you been through?
Because nobody knows.
We only see what you look like in
Right.
pictures, and we
Right.
liking what we see, but we don't know nothing that you're saying.
So this is our opportunity. That's what this is all about. This is our opportunity to share that testimony, to help somebody else who might have the divorce papers, you know, on the kitchen counter. You walk past it every single day. You might be an atheist couple.
And not even believe in God. God who?
Yeah, and you
What?
don't even understand, you know, the importance of having the Godhead in your household and in your marriage, in your relationship. You might be a man who struggles with his identity, and you don't know how to cover your wife. You don't know how to cover your son or your daughter. You know, we want to speak to that. We want to give you ways and give you some of the references and points of contact that we've had, the opportunities that we've had to fix our marriage, to strengthen it, to make our three-strand cord, us two plus God, stronger so that it's not easily broken. And that's what we want to do in the month of August. We want to celebrate reality. We want to celebrate real testimonies of victory, of love, of marriage. That's what we are Crutchfield are about. We are helping mates. We want to help you. So meet us in August so that we can be a help.
Right.
So a couple of years ago, the Lord gave me this.
Yeah, this just like for.
So a couple of years ago, the Lord gave me this before Jada Pinkett Smith came out with the table,
We've
the
seen it
round
like
table
4
thing.
times, and I still keep seeing it popping up on Instagram. So I'm just like, I really believe this is God. Like,
So a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the Lord gave me this idea to do table talk. We were in our old house, and I was just like, you know, most important conversations that you have happens at the kitchen table. You know, kids get in trouble at the kitchen table. You find out your child is drinking. You're normally in the kitchen at the table. So it stemmed from growing up at my godparents' house in Aberdeen. We used to coach a church family. So if we would see something in church or something would happen, we'd be like, I can't wait to get back to that table. Because after church, we would stay up until like 2 o'clock in the morning just picking apart, you know, the service or whatever we did that particular day at happening school. But our thing to each other was, meet me at the table. Meet me at the table. Because at the table, oh, it is going down tonight. So that's when it came to me like, you know, let's talk about some of this, what we're going through, and just things in marriage at the table. But we never acted
on the table.
Yeah.
You know how, like, even if you're having a discussion, you're like, let's table this. You know, like, it's just too much to talk about right now. Let's table it. Let's come back to it. And in marriage, no matter what you're going through, you have to come back to each other. You have to come back to this table.
And in our culture, so many things happen around the table. Around food. You know, Big Mama them cooking, you getting a whooping because you running. You know, we don't do cookouts the same as other cultures. You know, because our cookouts it's like Thanksgiving and burgers. You know, all meshed into one. You know, but it all, you know, it's happening around this food, around these big tables. So that was the premise behind this table talk. You know, and we didn't do it.
And we wanted to create an environment that was safe enough where people would feel like, I know for me, being a female, you can sit with us. They have this whole, you know, I'm better than you, I had much more than you, I'm on a different platform, you can't sit with us. And we wanted people to know that, listen, we pulling out a seat, you can come and sit with us.
Yeah, it's specifically for you.
We may not be counselors, but we are helpers one to another.
Right.
So come sit with us, let's break bread, let's talk about some real meat.
Right. And that's another thing, like we don't want people to think that we're counselors. Because we're not. We're not marriage counselors.
Right. We
we can show you, we can give you some numbers so you can get counseling. Because that's another thing in our culture. Like, we do not.
But you know, I think the narrative is changing now.
Yeah,
I think the direction is going that people and church people specifically are seeking prayer and counseling.
We're more comfortable now with counseling, you know, saying that I go to a therapist. Once a week, I am on a chair or on a phone talking, you know, so we want to make that, we want to lend our voice to this wave of communication, but we want to lend our voice in such a manner that is kingdom effective. You know, we just don't want to be spewing or just having irrelevant conversations. We want it to be effective. We
Right.
wanted to create some type
We
of
wanted
change.
to enlighten. We wanted to
And-
empower.
yeah.
We want to encourage other people, and not just married couples that are going through, but people that are married in general. I think another one of our things is that we didn't see a lot of younger couples that were talking about some of the issues that we were talking about. Now, our parents or our mentors have gone through things, but some of them, even in their old age, haven't gone through half the stuff that we've gone through in 8 years.
Yeah.
So then, how do you see yourself in marriage through the eyes of your peers or somebody that you feel is on your level?
Yeah.
I can
And
relate
so how
to
do
these
you
because
bridge those gaps? Between that, like you being a millennial and me being Generation X. When we had the generational, no, I'm saying, but when we had the
I am a
generational
millennial,
service
y'all.
at the church.
We definitely don't. Men and women don't think on the same.
No,
I think
yeah.
alike already, but then we are from two different generations.
Right.
How were you raised? Who were you raised by?
Right.
It dictates or determines how you love or how you receive love. I think all of that.
Plays a part.
Yeah.
Because my generation, Generation X, where I learned in our generation services that our generation, we try to bridge gaps
Okay.
between,
Okay.
different
And what is, so
generations.
what is my generation doing? Burning down the bridge?
You're not burning down
Lighting
the
the fire
bridge,
on the way?
but y'all are just very I can cut you off and just keep on moving. But you're very innovative.
We
Y'all
are.
start stuff.
We
You
are.
are pushing, you moving. I don't need a degree, to do what I want to do. I can be my own boss. I can start. I'm very entrepreneurial minded. And that's just who you are. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that
Yeah, yeah.
because it has taken us, our household, our little, island. But it has taken us so far just having that mentality. But sometimes you need another generation to
balance
speak,
it.
right, to balance that, to speak a realistic.
To say, Carrie, don't jump out the plane because your parachute really ain't on. It's not
Right.
working.
Yeah,
Because I'm jumping.
yeah, because you are ready to leap. So that's something else we want to talk about. How do you,
Balance each other in business.
how do you do all of that? So we want to talk about those things.
And we want you
talk
guys
about-
to talk to us. We don't want it to be just a one-sided conversation where we're doing the talking or you just see us talking amongst ourselves and you don't feel like you're welcome. We're welcoming you to our table.
Right. And we
What
want to
you're
talk
talking
about hard issues.
Yeah, don't come talking about,
This is not the platform for you to be asking my wife how to get a dress.
listen, y'all.
This ain't the live for that. This ain't the live for that. Though she dresses very well, we want to talk about relational issues. We want to have a good time.
We
We
do.
want to talk about some serious things.
Yeah.
We want to talk about your infidelity. We want to talk about if you thought about it, if you don't, if you hadn't thought about
Infidelity.
it.
Let's talk
What
about
happened?
infertility. What happens when you guys
Infertility,
are
yeah.
trying to have a baby for years and the stress it puts on a marriage when you're not able to bring forth a child? Woman, wife, how do you deal with that and how do you feel as a woman when you're not able to take his seed and multiply it like the Bible says that you're supposed to be able to do?
And we want to talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about it. Okay. So, but there's so many avenues in sex that you can talk about. You might feel like, well,
Let's
you
talk
could
to the single
you could be
person.
engaged and you having sex. And you need to stop.
And then you get married
But-
and then the sex ain't the same
Yeah,
that it was when you were engaged.
yeah, because spirits are real. So we want to talk about those different,
I want to talk to the
avenues,
single person that's masturbated for years and then you get married and you're unable to perform with your spouse the way you were able to perform by yourself.
And we're just
Let's
not
talk
talking,
about that.
we're inviting couples to talk about these issues,
And
so
to
that
send
we
in
can
your
open up.
conversations or things you want to talk about, even if you want to send it in
Any form. You can DM us, you can email us.
to where they DMing.
You
We are
can
Crutchfield.
DM us at weRcrutchfield.
You can email us
Instagram.
at-
You can email us at weRcrutchfield@gmail.com.
Or if you're watching on live and you're bold enough, you can type your question
you
right
can
in
type
the
your
box.
question in the box, and we will, answer
We'll
your
address
question.
it, and to the
we'll
best of our
address it.
knowledge of
Yeah.
our guests, we'll answer it.
Yeah, and if we don't have the question, then we will send you wherever you need to go so that you get the help that you need. Yes.